Hello and welcome to Pompey Talk in partnership with Jan Leap. My name is Mark McMahon and join me in the studio today to discuss Pompey's game against Colchester is new sports writer Jordan Cross.
How are you, Mark?
Not too bad. Yourself, Jordy?
Very well.
Good. Glad to hear. So, Pompey are on the way, according to the song now, but are you anticipating any spanners in the work against Colchester tomorrow?
Well, how we get there, I don't know. How we get, I don't care. All I know is Pompey are on their way.
They're on their way.
That was the that's the anthem that's developed off the back of the Crawley success. It's really fitting, actually, isn't it? I mean, I know we can't claim originality now; it's been used at other clubs, but the chant kind of sums up where Pompey stand with 11 games to go. We haven't had the consistency of other teams. We haven't been able to put a run together, but now we've found ourselves into the top three. And all it matters about is getting over the line, just finding a way. And I mean, we referenced it in Paul Cook's press conference yesterday, and he said, "Yeah, the song's spot on." That's what it's been the message from me to the players for a bit now. If they need to win ugly, do so, because I think Pompey, on their day, are pound for pound, right up there as the most talented in the division. But I've given up trying to predict what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
That's my last question then, stroked out.
Oh, right, yeah. Match prediction.
Forget about it.
Who knows? But going to the game this weekend, we've re-energised off the back of that because it was dismal, abject stuff last weekend. It's about as low as you can get. And credit to Pompey, with the pressure on, they delivered a response.
Well, you mentioned it yourself. It's just so hard to predict. Pompey, me and you were up at Carlisle, anticipating the week ahead, thinking Pompey could be 4 points clear in third place. We've got that sense again after leaving Crawley together, but at the same time too, we're very worried that you don't know what Pompey team's going to turn up against Colchester.
Yeah, absolutely. And now I guess that's the lot of most Pompey fans now, because we all thought we had Carlisle as the lift off. This is the moment. Mm-hmm. This is where the impetus really picks up and we kick in and we now hit a run. But then we were again, a year ago, pretty much to the day we were at Accrington, where we thought exactly the same thing, and then Pompey went on the loss to Newport County. As Paul Cook references, Pompey's consistency is their inconsistency, which is all the other way around. And I can see where he's coming from with that, because it's unfathomable. And as I said last week, and some people disagreed with me, the manager can prepare the players and get out there and do so much, but when they don't deliver, what can you do as a boss? You can only prepare the players so much, and then you're in their hands. And if they don't go out and perform, you can have them perform to instruction, but if they're not doing their jobs properly, what can you do there? So, who knows? And there's reasons for optimism moving forward off the back of Tuesday. Colchester's a game where they can go and kick on now, but they could just go out there, turn up, and it could be a win, lose or draw. Yeah.
Well, on paper it looks a tough one, bear in mind where Colchester are in the league table, but at the same time too, they've got a lot of injuries to contend with.
Yeah, I was upbeat off the back of that. I mean, when you hear they've got 13 injuries, and a number of those players were significant.
Key players.
Yeah, the captain's out, and important defenders have gone on the injury list. So that was the reasons for confidence. But then you hear that Colchester have there's only two sides, I think, Plymouth and one other, that have got a better home record in the division. But I mean, talking about Pompey's inconsistency, I mean, you're seeing it throughout the division. That's a reason for optimism. No one's really grabbing it by the horns, and Colchester have got one of the better recent records of teams up in the top 7 or 8. But it's not great.
Yeah.
And in fact, if you took Stevenage out of the equation, 7 wins and 1 draw, Pompey are probably the form team with Luton. Mm-hmm. Colchester fit into that category, don't they? So maybe it's the level. If they could do this consistently, then they would be playing at a higher level. But going back to Colchester, it's an occasion where you can go there. You don't fear the event. There's going to be raucous backing from 2,300 Pompey fans around about again. They can go there, and it's a great time to go there really with the injury list, as long as it is for them.
Yeah. Well, Pompey don't have such problems in terms of injuries. We're expecting Enda Stevens to be okay after a dead leg against Crawley.
Yeah.
I mean, Linganzi should be back, so it's a pretty.
It's a full complement pretty much.
Yeah.
Without the only one being Jack Watmore, who's got the hamstring and
Curtis Main then.
we've given up on.
We've given up.
No. To be fair to Curtis, I mean, they looked into that, and but it's like kind of a running joke now that when we speak to Paul Cook on a Thursday at the end of any new injuries, just Curtis Main. So
and
we were going to get him
just Curtis Main, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're calling him.
So we thought we were going to get him like a Nike slogan with like "Just Do It" instead of doing that, just Curtis Main instead and a swoosh or something. But in terms of selection.
I was going to say, bearing in mind there's no injury problems, do you anticipate the same team that started against Crawley, or do you think Paul Cook may vary that up?
I think it will be the same. If you look at the team on Tuesday night, there was a lot of good performances. I bet in Neil Allen's match report there was 7-8s and probably a couple of 9s. So I would say the one thing from a punter's point of view is I would look at Owen Doyle, because he hasn't hit his straps. I'm sure we'll come on to that. And Noel Hunt really pepped things up when he came off the bench, and Paul Cook continually references the idea that Noel Hunt's got a part to play. I think, however, Owen Doyle will, Paul Cook's got to sort of bank on him and show faith in him. Really, I was surprised that he took Gary Roberts out for that same reason on Tuesday, but it worked out. And again, Cal Naismith, I mean, absolutely outstanding, going forward and backwards, man of the match quite rightly. So I anticipate it being the same team. I mean, Linganzi back in, but Danny Rose again was excellent.
He played well, definitely, yeah. Well, talking about Owen Doyle, we may as well talk about it then. Pompey, it's clear, Pompey haven't seen the best of him as yet. What do you reckon the problem is? Is he needing time to bed in? Are Pompey playing to his strengths? What's going on?
I think Pompey, well, the men behind Owen Doyle in a number of games haven't performed, and Owen's going to rely on those guys to load the gun for him, and him then to fire the bullets. So, when you have one of those three in behind not perform, you may just get away with it. When you have 2 and 3, which has happened quite a lot in recent weeks, you've got an issue, and that's going to hurt Owen Doyle. But when you look at his performance, he's an honest runner. He hasn't gone hiding, but you can see it's starting to weigh heavily on him now. The fact that he would do when you've only got 1 goal in these games, and it's probably it's starting to affect him. I think Paul Cook sort of came out and backed him on Tuesday, which he's got to do. But 2 good opportunities, one being a penalty. It wasn't struck with conviction. Paul Cook said he can't remember Owen Doyle really missing a penalty before for him. But more the first half chance when it was an excellent, excellently timed run. We were right in line with it, weren't we, at Broadfield Stadium, and he timed his run to perfection, which was a big plus. But when you go through like that, you expect to take your chance, and everyone expected to net the bulge there, didn't they? And credit to the keeper, it was a reasonable stop, but you've got to put those away. So expect Paul Cook to continue with him. Really hope he just gets a break. Because you can see his confidence is now starting to dwindle a bit.
Okay, well, it's another fascinating weekend of football in terms of at the top of League 2. You've got Pompey, obviously, Colchester. You've got Luton at home to Stevenage, which is a big game, and you've got Mansfield. So it's plenty of ups and downs along the way there.
As you say, I think it's one of 3 fixtures that kind of references the teams in and around the playoffs. But when you look at it now, I mean, the teams got to play each other still. I mean, Plymouth got a tough run coming up. Luton, more immediately coming to a real tricky spout of fixtures now. And Paul Cook, despite the fact they go to inform Stevenage next week, he's really happy with with Pompey's running. He thinks it's all kind of loaded in his team's favour, and perhaps just as much as the teams that they're playing. I think he's talking about the travelling as well. There's not too many massive long trips. Hartlepool away, and then a couple of like Mansfield at the end. But relatively, they haven't been too bad, and got the midweek fixtures out the way now. So no, it's going to happen all very quickly now, isn't it? The sun starts shining, and it comes to that time of season. But when you look, as I said earlier, when you look around the division, you don't see a team like last season, like a Bristol Rovers or AFC Wimbledon at this time, who really hit their straps and got themselves into the picture. I mean, Doncaster 1 in 7, I think, 1 win in 7. Plymouth 1 in 6. Luton, for all the decent form, I think they're only 1 win in 4. So no one aside from Stevenage, who have had 7 wins and 1 draw to get themselves into the picture. That's not even to really get themselves into the sort of automatic places. They've had to do that to get there. So for them to sustain that, I mean, that's going to be something else. So I think it's there to be had. I think, you know, a few weeks ago people were talking about 84 points. I think that's coming down all the time now. Pompey, you know, with 11 games left, if they get 22 points, they end up on 81, and you're looking at 2 points a game. Really, that's what, you know, the managers would target as a decent return. And I think that now could quite possibly be enough. I mean, Carlisle, for example, they're in relegation form, absolutely horrific run of form they're on at the moment. If you put their current form, you know, over the last 15 games together, they're in the bottom three, bottom two, sorry. So yeah, it's there to be had, and that's a real boost for Pompey as well, because, you know, they haven't done it, but perhaps now they might need to put that sort of run of sort of 7-8 wins together. It might be fewer.
Well, it shows you where Paul Cook is mentally when he's saying he's focusing on Plymouth and Doncaster rather than worrying about Luton, who have a game in hand. Is that good? Is that the way it should be then? Pompey should be looking up rather than...
Absolutely, yeah. No, look forward. And when Paul Cook, he does it in a story tomorrow, he talks about how Doncaster, when they go to places like Cheltenham, it's not like when Pompey go to Cheltenham. Because it's a big affair for Pompey to have to deal with that pressure. So he talks openly, and he's not trying to put pressure on his teams above him in that way. It's not psychotic, he's just talking openly and honestly, really, and just chewing the fat. We get a very open Paul Cook, and it's a big factor in a good relationship and getting good stories for us as a newspaper. So, no, it's very sort of positive in that sense, and it's there to be had with the teams. I say Doncaster not really having it, and Paul Cook's quite rightly is optimistic moving forward.
Okay. Well, Noah said we wouldn't ask you this here, but you might as well.
You're chucking a prediction
I'll chuck a prediction in there. Do you want to put your neck on the line?
Well, I'm an optimist, and as I say, I was really optimistic when I saw the injury list. I mean, that's the run at that home is fantastic for them, but I'm looking forward to going there. It's a new ground for me.
New ground, myself too.
You know, I'm looking to go there and enjoy a good win this weekend. I think Pompey can do that. And please just, you know, let Owen Doyle get a goal and boost that confidence, and that can be a real positive moving forward. I'll go for a Pompey 2-1.
Sounds good to me. Thanks, Jordan, for your input. You've been watching Pompey Talk in partnership with Jan Leap. We'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.